Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Backlash 2016, and well, what can I say about this pay-per-view other than it was a really good show. There's not really much down about this particular show, and I will go through everything as general here. First of all, I was thinking, it's like, oh god, this show might not be all that great, because what do they do to start off a pay-per-view? The one thing you probably should never do, which is cut a promo. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon come out and cut a promo right at the beginning of the show. You know, fair enough. In this one, they kept it short. Like, it was maybe 3 to 5 minutes. It wasn't. It was basically just. It made it feel like it kind of belonged, because it's like the first SmackDown pay-per-view and everything. Like, my initial thoughts, like, oh no, we got a promo right at the beginning of the show. This isn't good. This isn't a good sign for the show. But they kept it short, and they went right into the SixPack challenge, with it being Becky Lynch going up against Natalya, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Nikki Bella. And they're making the new SmackDown Women's Championship. It's the first to crown the first SmackDown Women's Champion. I can't really complain too much about this match. I know there was a couple botches here and there, but overall, this match, you know, they gave time for every single one of the women to shine in their own way, even before the eliminations. Like, they announced this elimination match, and in some cases that can be a good thing, some cases that can be a bad thing. They went with the good thing here. They gave everyone a chance to shine, and the first elimination didn't even happen until like 10 minutes into the match. Like, seriously, the only nitpicking thing that I can come up with for this match is that at times it was everyone kind of does a move in the ring and then throws someone out of the ring. That was literally the only nitpicking thing I can do, but like spots-wise, moves-wise, everything kind of flowed together here. I'm glad they went with Becky. It felt like it was the proper choice to go with, but you could have also seen them going with Nikki Bella as well for this one. They do seem to like to put face champions as the first champion for a new title, and that's what they went with here. And like I said, everybody seemed very thoroughly behind Becky from the get-go. You could tell from the crowd and everything. And when she won with the disarmer on Carmella, first of all, as well, I like the aspect of Carmella pinning Nikki Bella, though. You get to continue that feud to go along with it. She gets that right after Nikki Bella eliminates Natalya with the TKO. Alexa Bliss also looked really well in this match. Same with Naomi to go along with it. And like I said, everyone got their time to shine, which was the good thing in that aspect of it. Even with the first person being eliminated, which was Alexa Bliss, she still looked like she belonged there in some way, shape, or form. So, good way of going. Becky being the choice for that first SmackDown Women's title, I think is a good choice. And we'll see how everything goes with that, and see where they go with everything with that women's division. Up next, you actually had a quick segment backstage with Miz and some kid from one of the Nickelodeon shows. I'm not sure which one. Segment. Kind of one of those, just, oh, I'm a star of a TV show, you're the like D-list over obnoxious movie star segment. I didn't really care for it all that much. One of the few things I didn't care for. And then right after that, you had another quick backstage segment to go along with. Before we get into our next match, you have Bray Wyatt attacking Randy Orton. He was slamming the door across his knee, basically trying to injure Randy Orton before the match. Apparently, they were expecting Randy Orton to be cleared by the time that this happened, and it stemmed off of the aspect of his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Apparently, maybe concussion issue or something in that sense. They were expecting him to be cleared beforehand, and that was why they were, continually advertising Randy Orton was not clear, so they wrote him off with like an injury angle backstage. Honestly, it kind of goes off as, they should have mentioned something beforehand but instead of just going with the attack Randy Orton thing, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Get into that one a little bit later on for what was going to be Bray Wyatt's match. So, but like I said, kind of like a little switcheroo happens throughout the rest of the show for that one. But up next, you had Usos and the Hype Bros. The match was kind of there. You expected the Usos to win. I like the stuff that they were doing as heels. The Hype Bros did what they needed to do there, make it, kind of tease it a little bit that they could win, but you would expect the Usos to go over, heel versus face team going into the finals. And like I said, I like the aspect that, they use a different style of finish with the kick to the knee going into the half Boston Crab. I kind of like that one. It makes the Usos look a little bit different than what they typically had done for that for their match. Up next was Miz and Dolph Ziggler. First of all, you had Miz backstage with Daniel Bryan, and just getting in Daniel Bryan's face again, pushing his buttons, saying it's like, "Oh look, I'm going to go out there and do what you wish you could do and what you can't do anymore," and everything in that sense. Like, they're teasing something with these guys. Whether, I doubt it's going to be a match. I really do. But they are teasing for it to be a match, but you'd have to assume that it's going to lead into something where Bryan beats down Miz or something in that sense down the line. We'll see where they go with that. But Miz and Dolph Ziggler, great match. Great match. I loved where they went with everything, and the aspect at the end of the match with Maurice spraying something in Dolph Ziggler's eyes to cause him to get hit by the skull crushing finale. I actually liked it. I kind of liked that one. It plays more for Miz's heel character to have something like that happen, even regardless of how good the match is beforehand. These two worked so well together, and this was by far one of the better matches of the night. I've always been a Miz fan, knew he can put on shows like this. And of course, this is something that you expect from Dolph Ziggler as well. He puts on a much better match this week, not this week, but this pay-per-view versus his match with Dean Ambrose. I was not a big fan of that one beforehand, but just overall, great match. Probably the best match on the show for this particular area. So, this brings out Bray Wyatt. And, they did the typical type of heel thing, like Bray comes out, it's like Randy Orton's unable to compete, he wants the referee to count to 10, and done. Announce him as the winner, and then it's announced that he has a new opponent for the match, or for the show, and it's going to be a no-holds-barred match, and who do they get to replace Randy Orton? Well, what can you say? A wild Kane appears. Okay. So you're kind of expecting maybe they're going to get Bray a win here and everything like that. I know it's a no-holds-barred match, so anything can technically happen. And honestly, a good chunk of the match was pretty good. You got some good spots in there, good, even a little bit of usage of weapons as a chair and everything in that sense. The table spot with Bray and Kane I thought was really good as well. The running senton from one announce table to the other was, like I said, I thought it came off really well, and I thoroughly enjoyed certain aspects of this match. The biggest problem was Randy Orton limps out there, and first of all, if he has a concussion and had a concussion recently, in general, why is he even going out there? Again, even medically, unmedically cleared is okay. Isn't there a doctor or Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon to stop him or something in that sense? No, apparently not. He limps out there, RKO's Bray, and costs him the match. This was the down point of the show. Why? Why cost? Obviously, costing Bray the match continues the storyline and everything in that sense. That's okay, but just give Bray the win for once. Just give him a win for once. That's all we really ask, because it feels like it does damage the character, because he comes out there and says so many things, and then he's flat on his back in the pay-per-view. So it's just how it typically goes, and it feels like he needs that big win at some point in time on a pay-per-view, and he's not going to get it here. So, up next ended up being the Usos, who won beforehand, going up against Heath Slater and Rhino. And, they have been doing some very awkward promos throughout the entire show with Heath Slater and Rhino. Like, they have one backstage. The one thing that made in common, and it actually came off fairly entertaining, is like they would do something that they thought that they weren't live, and they still were. Like, Heath Slater did something in his promo, was like, I've got to go. I was like, oh. And it's like, oh, and then he comes back, shakes Renee's hand up and says she's doing a good job, and then says something to Rhino that's completely embarrassed, like, we're still alive. And they did it at the pre-show as well, talking about like something with one of Slater's kids and everything in that sense. It was actually fairly entertaining stuff. The match with the Usos and Slater and Rhino. Your typical fare, what you would expect from a Slater and Rhino tag team match, how they've been going throughout the tournament. Slater does stay in the ring for the good chunk of the time, though they give him some time for offense and everything inside of here. But it eventually leads to the end of the match where Slater's the legal man, and behind the referee's back, after it looked like the Usos were about to win. Like, that was one thing that was a possibility with that one. It was like, hey, the Usos are going to win. They're going to continue on with this like Slater thing, this Slater free agent thing. No, they actually they could have done it with like a potential Rhino, a Rhino heel turn or something in that sense, and he ends up goring Slater. They didn't go that route. They actually had Rhino gore one of the Usos, and like he encourages Heath to try to cover him as he because Heath was like next to out at that time, so he slowly covers him, and the crowd went pretty. They popped pretty well for this one. Like, they've gotten behind Slater, and I'm kind of glad they're throwing him a bone, because he's done so many like segments like with legends and everything like that in the past, and now they're kind of throwing him a bone here. And they've done something to kind of get the fans behind them and everything in that sense, and it's kind of worked. So they have Slater and Rhino become the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and I mean, we'll see where they go with this from here, because obviously that means like now that the whole free agent thing and not having a contract kind of storyline ends with Slater. And we'll see where they go with this next from that time, to see where they can build off of this. Like I said, they gave it a good. They gave Slater something to try to get the fans behind him, and it ended up working. And I'm kind of glad for that in that sense of everything. Up next was the main event of the night, which was AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, and this was a good match. It wasn't the best. Like, it was borderline great as well. Like, I liked certain story elements that they were telling throughout the entire match here. But the whole shocker, like, you would expect AJ Styles to win. Like, with the way he's been performing in WWE and everything like that, you would expect him to win this match if you didn't know his history. Like, being in TNA, being in the Indies thing, like, he doesn't fit that mold for WWE in that sense of everything. Like, he's the journeyman. He was like the face of a company already, of a couple companies in a sense, with New Japan Pro Wrestling and with TNA as well. You don't expect them to want to put their big title on him, and they do it. And they actually do it. I'm like, ooh. It was one of those ooh moments. Like, I would expect AJ Styles to win this match, because Dean Ambrose's reign's kind of been a little bit lackluster and everything in that sense. In all fairness, I'm an Ambrose fan, but you have to admit, like, after the whole Shield thing, the Shield triple threat, it's kind of been first title reign, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully they, garner the character back to where it needs to be a more serious threat and everything in that sense, and everything in that sense. But AJ Styles, proper choice here. He's been performing so well since he's come into the company, and that I feel like they recognized it and they rewarded it, and I'm glad. I also like the usage of the low blow finish as well, because obviously you got to set up something for a Dean Ambrose AJ Styles rematch and everything in that sense. But also it played off of the past couple weeks on SmackDown, where AJ got straddled on the ropes, and then the low blow from AJ to Ambrose beforehand. I like that aspect. The referee being distracted a little bit to cause that potential thing to happen. I'm okay with it. It worked well. It plays off of AJ Styles being a heel in this case. It works out well. So, like I said, overall, this was a lot better than I think a lot of people, and even what I was expecting. This show, it came off really good here. It ran short of the 3 hours, so it was kind of like one of the older pay-per-view times, where they would either get close to the 3 hours or run it a little bit short. I think it ran at about 2 hours and 40 minutes. You had 6 matches that were relatively good, that were either really, really good or relatively good in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, the only low point of the night was the whole aspect of Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Kane thing. Outside of that, just a really, really good show. I thoroughly enjoyed Backlash this year. And that is my review for WWE Backlash 2016. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.